Hi there, Michael André Ford, your American Angel Intuitive. I help people connect with the universe. It's all direct. If you want to view it as the classic psychic from the 1930s, sure, you can get any answers to any questions, but you're not listening to me. You're actually engaging the universe, angels, Native American chiefs, figures from India, even your relatives. You can also see and chat with a passed over pet. I would make the argument, though, why aren't you doing that with your current pooch or kitty cat? They're like third or fourth graders, although I'll say that cats are actually more like 10th graders or more. They're pretty sophisticated and amazing. So this is a pretty heady topic. It's a big one, but I'm going to make the point that you've already got all the skills. You're using them all day long. It's just a bit of consciousness awareness, being in the moment, being present, but your brain, your intellect isn't going to permit you to acknowledge any of this. You're doing it for at least a third of your day. Just flipping a light switch, putting your jeans on, taking a shower, going for a run, reading a book, but where you're not thinking. This is about not growing your thinking, not doing thinking, but doing a little less thinking. The good news, bad news is your thinking's not going away at all. And I think right now, mankind is really wrapped into thinking. We think that thinking, the intellect, PhDs, science is the pinnacle of success. It's really about breathing, letting go, getting out of the head, getting out of the brain, getting out of knowledge, mankind's version of knowledge. Most of mankind's knowing precludes possibility, and that's just not the way the universe rolls. The universe is big, loves the fabric of the universe. You'll find that out pretty quickly when you start talking with an angel. That angel may be from around here, let's say, living within you and around you, interdimensional if you wish. It may originally or have an origin story from way out, Andromeda, Sirius, Pleiades, Orion, or even further out. It may be Gandhi. It may be Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Kuan Yin, Seneca, Plato, Socrates, Dull Knife, Red Shirt, Geronimo, White Buffalo, Calf Woman, Crazy Horse, and so on. Red Shirt, Red Cloud. You can meet probably 200 folks, and it's probably much bigger if you counted everybody's guardian angel and their own team of angels. You have an invisible cheerleading squad. The goal here is this is about you personally allowing for more expansion and growth. This is about your own soul's development. For most of us, this isn't our first rodeo. You're here kind of in an earth school, if you want to call it that, where there's a lot of contrast. There's this and there's this. The more you do love, and you're doing love all day long, again, whether you know it or not. We'll call it compassion, consciousness, awareness, but where you're just being, breathing, smiling, allowing with a capital A. That's the name of the game. The more you do it, the more you settle into who you are, into your energy field, and allow sort of the bigger picture just to be as it is. Angels are here to help, but you have to ask for that help. Think of it this way: you are the bigger brother to two sisters or to two brothers. The more they learn on their own, the better off they are. If you showed them how to do everything directly, what would happen if they were left on their own to try to then learn some new task on their own? They'd probably be handicapped a little bit by all the help that you gave initially. So it's, I think, akin to that. You can set your intent. You can ask angels for, again, you can get any answers to any questions, any topics, no limits on that, unless it's sort of out of your bailiwick. You know, if it's your neighbor's business, you'll probably be told to move on. But I'm not kidding on how cool this is. All languages are spoken, all dialects, plus everyone has to hear it and will hear it just the way they need to hear it. Think of it as a vibration coming in that turns to Spanish, turns to Japanese, Swahili, whatever language you roll with, and you can hear it in a certain dialect. There's also kind of a fourth dimension to it, not just the way you need to hear it, which is very specific to each person's personality, but it's also oftentimes with some humor or some poignancy. We'll use a word I probably haven't used in a decade plus. So the record is 48, 49 pages of answers in 8 or 9 hours. Australians are, for some reason, super great about this. It's about being open. It's about basic listening, basic seeing, full on seeing. You start off seeing as angels in light energy form, maybe on your ceiling or around you. You can see balls of light. You can see butterflies. I know there's so many communities out there with so many different bits of lingo. We could be talking to the psychiatric community or the psychotherapist communities, Buddhism, non-duality, Hinduism, this religion, this non-religion, meditation, mindfulness, and so on. There's even a community that says orbs. But luckily, all the photos that I have of angels are in all different shapes, sizes, and colors and formats and stuff. So not just balls of light, but rainbow pie slice photos of angels. I'll put one up like this. So not orbs. And then a fairy, you can see her with wings. Go to my website. I've got angels whooshing through when I'm doing my show for guests. That's kind of cool. We had one figure that's not an angel that everybody knows, unconditional love. It was an interdimensional, we'll just say it was interdimensional Buddha, interdimensional Mary, interdimensional Jesus, interdimensional Gandhi, interdimensional so-and-so. And it might have been the plural of that. So that's just mind blowing. But my point on this is it's really not about all the fancy stuff here. It's just about simplicity. It's about doing a little more love in the moment. It's about being more at peace, more relaxed, settling into who you already are, who you've always been. I'm going to sound like a beer commercial here, like an old Michelob commercial from the 80s. It's who you've always been. It's where you're headed. And again, it's who you already are. Yeah, it really is a seaplane landing on a lake Michelob commercial from the 1980s. I can see it in my mind's eye. I think I used it as my high school yearbook quote, by the way. But the point of this is any answers to any questions. All languages spoken. You can get hugs. The hugs can become healing. Colorblind people have seen color. I always blow a little bit of sage through two screens. I'll do that now quickly. This isn't going to be one of those long talks. I haven't done one in a while. We're releasing 3 shows a week for the show. Angels, Positivity, and Love on YouTube. Hopefully you're watching this video there. Time to hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe. It is always going to be slow going because this is the hardest thing for people to grasp. You could be the biggest healer ever, and you're just not accustomed to full on seeing, full on hearing. You can do this as a group. So if you had a twin brother, your father, your mother, your younger brother, you each owned it solo and had a direct experience, you could do it jointly. Why not? No limits is no limits. Why not? Probably quoting Sri Kaleshwar, meet him out of India. You can meet Krishna, Vishnu, Ganesh, Rama, the Divine Mother, the tiger that the Divine Mother rides on. Catch a little bit of sage. I've only got one bit of rule or structure. I lied. I've got 2, but one's official. Give yourself permission to let go and set your intent. So here's setting your intent for you. Don't have to do it out loud. Do it from the heart where it counts. Angels, get me out of my head, into my heart. Help me smell some sage. I'm in Texas. You're in Germany. You're in New Zealand. You're in North Carolina. You're in California. And it might not be this year in 2024. You might be 2 years ahead. There's really no time and space. Go ahead and just allow for the scent of sage. And why go linear when you can have a 3-tiered tiramisu, no calories? Sage, ask for flowers, and ask for ocean. Maybe you have that favorite ocean you haven't been around in a while, but you know what it smells like. It makes you happy. Ask angels to make you that ocean smell. If you're really gutsy, close your eyes and hear the wave action. See a beach scene. Let angels bring it to you. And if you want to look down the beach, you can see one of your pooches on the other side. Love is love. Everything else is details. Most of the adults you see on TV or in the textbooks or on social media, especially scientists and others, most of them, many of them, are up here and operating at a coding system, software system that's extremely rickety and limited. It's called thinking. It's called knowing to the preclusion of possibility. When the universe is far more vast. Watch what happens when younger generations who are simply curious and open, and by that I mean opening openness, they're just willing to ask questions and listen. Listening takes a second. It's the scariest thing in the world for a full-fledged adult, especially, this is gonna sound so, not pejorative, but just I've found women tend to be totally wide open. Men tend to be a lot less. And if you're over 50 and you're super successful in your career, odds are that you have no incentive to want to do any listening to the universe at all. But here's why everyone cares is mankind is ready for a little less thinking. It's not going away. It's not in the cards. So when angels talk about less thinking, the max generally is about 7% less thinking a day. Get a calculator out. Maybe that's an hour and a half, hour and 15, hour and 45 minutes. I don't know. But less thinking just means less of this type of vibration or energy. And 7% more, or maybe 10% more if you get lucky, 15% on a crazy happy day, more here. As soon as you learn the difference in the wavelengths, the difference in the vibrational scale, the difference in the output, the difference in the efficacy, total waste of energy up here, it's fear, it's stress, it's worry, it's judging at the preclusion of possibility or knowing to the preclusion of possibility, which is just pure concrete, doesn't get anything done. You can think about hugging your dog all you want, you're not hugging your dog. And the loving act of hugging your dog when you're here is the coolest thing in the world. And apply that to everything else. So there's being or doing by being. And then there's being by running around in the rat race and think that you're doing a lot. So it's slow down the doing, slow down the thinking. There's nothing to gain here and there's nothing to lose. So you could have 15 PhDs, 15 New York Times bestsellers, 15 institutes you represent that all research consciousness awareness, ETs, alien life, we're getting to that next, and everything else science. And it's not going to help you at all. The person who just stepped off the city bus, who's 14, 25, from Milwaukee, from Guatemala, has probably a better shot than the world's best scientist at doing some basic listening. So this is wide open to the entire population of Earth. Do some listening, get your answers, start, small. Hey, how can I breathe easier? The finances, the relationships, the health situations, that's the usual list. How can I have more fun as soon as people start to get more bold? But there are going to be people who are like, hey, I want to talk about that gravitational pull theory and get some help. You can go beyond words and get it visualized for you with your eyes shut, eyes open. It doesn't really matter. There's something maybe called light language. Don't worry about it. But the point is, the universe is so big that there's no one group, no one organization that can claim they own the ketchup bottle. And even if they do try to do it, they're shaking it a lot and making a mess. This is far bigger than ketchup. This is catch up for most of science, spirituality crowds, and stuff like that. They're not at a disadvantage. I'm just saying it's just something that few have yet to embrace. And it's an opportunity simply to be more love, more compassion in the now, to embrace all as it already is. It's basically the golden rule. Regard others kindly or gently, without fixation, and treat others as you would have them treat you. But meanwhile, get any answers, and you get to full on see. It's kind of, if I work with someone, we'll call it 75 baby steps. But one act of letting go could be 70 of those baby steps. After all, letting go is letting go. And if you know how to flip a light switch, fall asleep at night, brush your teeth, take a shower, and sing in the shower, pet your dog, I think you pretty much mastered the idea of letting go. It's just where thinking comes in. We think this is a big deal to meet and see angels. We think it's a big deal to see Uncle Henry or your favorite grandmother who passed away 10 years ago. We think it's a big deal to see Jesus, Mary, Buddha, Muhammad, figures from Native American cultures, uh, you know, Debbie Ford, you name it. And, it is, I'll give you that. I spent the first 5 to 10 years completely freaking out every chance I got. I help people see the light on their fingers. I'll do that now. But I did want to mention the whole search for extraterrestrial life. It's kind of a moot point. It's here. It's in you and it's around you if it's interdimensional. If you need to see them in physical form, you can. You can see angels out and about on your city street. If you just want to ask for that, do it in a way that they're opening the coffee shop door for you and saying your first name. How would anybody know your first name? And they're saying just what you said at the dinner party the night before, what you were watching in the movie, not a horror movie, but a nice movie. When Harry Met Sally, they say the one line that you saw in the movie the night before, you start laughing because you're like, whoa, serendipity, hello, synchronicity. You kind of wake up and go, there's something going on here. I've got really sparkly, happy folks. Ask them for a cup of coffee, go hit the diner across the street, have an hour conversation. I want to text, I want an email, I want to comment below the video at some point and just say, hey, I had a wonderful time. Holy smokes, holy cow, holy Toledo, holy moly. And that has happened for various guests on the Angels Positivity and Love show. So be sure to subscribe. Later in almost every show, we take steps from blowing sage, to I show people my energy through the screen, to we feel each other's energy. I whoosh them with rainbow light. I put up angel photos. They hear answers, they get hugs, they can see light. We've been whooshed. It goes on and on and on. There's even a panel, I believe, where we were seeing, or they were collectively 3 people seeing over my shoulder in the bigger living room down the hallway. Angels, maybe extraterrestrial life, if you want to call it that. Look, You can meet a Pleiadian, you can meet an Arcturian. Lyrans exist. If anybody remembers Star Trek from the 1960s with William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, the cool outfits, 1960s, they made an animated version of it. And if you check out the bridge of the Enterprise behind Lieutenant Uhuru, the communications officer, African-American actress who was wonderful, I think she just passed away, you'll notice there was a Kaitian, a cat-like woman who was the backup communications officer. That would be preparing us a little bit for, hey, just like Star Wars did in 1977 in the cantina scene, hey, there's a lot of different species out there. It's all one big unconditional love pie. We get to take a bite out of it. I'm borrowing from Full Metal Jacket. I think they said sandwich, we all get to take a bite. But my point is, the universe is far bigger than you're ever going to grasp. If you want to do the grasping, ask angels to help you out, have them take you on a little trip. You could be like Scrooge, getting a little tour around the world, seeing all the different families and what they're doing on Christmas Eve. But they'll show you the galaxy. They'll show you how big love is. You'll be waltzed, blown away, and you don't have to have a near-death experience to have the same impact of letting go of all your earthly worries, stress, what you're holding on to that doesn't serve you, and that actually totally restricts your flow, your fun, your family, your friendships. And let me do another F somehow. Can't do it. It totally just restricts your being, who you are. Be all you can be, but forget the army slogan. Think of it as you shining more, flowing more, breathing more, being more, just allowing. Be all you can be. No triota. Always try Archangel Gabriel. So this isn't about words, most concepts, most people, what they're teaching. Not taking a shot at this. Go use 400 teachers at all these institutes, all these different countries. Go to Machu Picchu, go to ancient Egypt, do everything you got to do. It'll be perfect for you. But when you're ready to step beyond the way humans roll, beyond thinking, beyond words, you can kind of just take the whole board game of Monopoly and kind of start going above it and start collecting $200 every time you pass go, but up here, you can levitate above the board until there's no more board, and you're just saying cha-ching. You're actually just you're connecting with the universe directly, period. You've already got that connection. Again, there's nothing to gain here, nothing to lose. Move past seeing the negative on this. You just have to slow down all the doing that's up here. For most people, to quote Mother Teresa, compassion is like a deep breath for many. That's the closest they're going to come to going, whoa, Nelly, whoa, to the horses up here. To get to here, it's just a deep breath. We're running around trying to achieve. We're a salesperson. We're at a hospital. We're rushing. We think we got to do this. We're task oriented. We're goal oriented. We're role oriented, and therefore severely inflicting a lot of thinking on ourselves when that's just not how it actually works. There's a positive flow. I was about to point up here. There's a positive flow, high vibration, fun. Doesn't mean you can't be a great business person smiling and 1 + 1 = 11 on everything you touch. And then there's something happening when you're up here. Total waste of energy most of the time. Even your best thinking happens when you're doing your best thinking. It's when you're creative. You're actually down in your heart. We'll call it creative thinking. So there is a slight bit of, we'll give a little okay to some thinking, but most of it's fear-based, total waste of energy. You can't help it. You're gonna waste tons and tons of wattage on thinking for the rest of your day. You're gonna do stress. You're gonna do knowing. You're gonna judge that car that cut you off, your neighbor, the bad boss at work, this, that. Welcome to being human. The difference here is, though, that once you do know the difference in flows, you have no more excuses. You're purposely wasting your energy and you know it. So I've never met anybody who goes out the door first thing in the morning to head off to work and says, I'm going to waste my energy again today, as I've done every day for the last 30 days, as I will do for 30 days in the future. I've never met anybody who says they're wrong. Ananda Mayama, you can meet her out of India. She said everybody is right, and everybody said they were right back in the day, and everybody does it today. There's no such thing as right or wrong. There's proper understanding, and it's like city slickers. Or when Harry Met Sally, there's one thing you need to know, and it's up to you to spend a whole lifetime or 20 lifetimes or 5 minutes if you're pretty quick to the draw and you've got it already figured out. What's the one thing? Pick any Beatles song. It's just love. And the more you practice love, the more you hit the heart button. The more you hit the heart button, the more you're interconnected to all the dimensions, all the yous, all the wonderful people you're going to meet in the future that's already here. The more you're good at business, you're waltzing through life, the more you attract outcomes, the more you realize how this all works for like manifesting, law of attraction, blah, blah, blah. let an angel, let a Native American chief, let Plato, let Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, all four of them at once talk to you about this. Why not? Here's my energy with a background that's dark, but a blue sky would work great. In fact, if your twin sister could do this over in the other room against the blue sky, you did it and saw your light on your fingers, you can each put a finger out and be half the glow stick. I had a guest on Angels, Positivity, and Love. I think it was Sue Fredrickson. A shout out to her. She said that they were already doing this in the 70s before Celestine Prophecy, the movie, came along. That's cool. They do it this way in India. You can just see it on trees, plants, your dogs. You can see it on my aura here. You can see it flowing between people. Go to a concert, go to a restaurant where they're all eating and happy, go to a movie theater. You can see everybody's flows, tennis match. And then you can have angels make butterflies come out of those flows. And that would be Disney-esque CGI. That's a lot to grasp. Who cares? Ditch that I said it. Here's seeing my energy, and hopefully you can hear me okay, but just breathe through your mouth, be in your heart, do the Zen thing, seeing without seeing. And you'll just see a little filament of light. One quick dad joke before I do it. If you're laughing, you're letting go. Santa's reindeer, Blitzen and Dancer. Why do those two reindeer drink so much coffee? Because they're Santa's Starbucks. And just see a little glow, a little wisp, a little filament of light. What color do you see between my fingers? Is it gold? Is it green? Is it yellow? Is it white, yellow, gold, green, blue? Is it purple? Is it fuchsia? If you want to replay this, do it, but make sure you put on some music, you dance, do Chubby Checker, Elvis, do something that makes you laugh out loud. Think of the best vacation memory you've ever had and watch your energy soar and watch how the energy that you see changes. It's a little bit like what Wayne Dyer says. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's called a shift in consciousness. And hey, the good news is there's trillions of layers of consciousness. Now, no Consciousness Institute is interested in any of this. They just want to do the scientific studies. It's very rare a scientist wants to listen to a Pleiadian, an Arcturian, Jesus, Mary, Muhammad, let alone all five together, let alone seeing them in human form, let alone just seeing them out the window, let alone writing their answers down and so on. Welcome to the human race today. But it changes when you're in a pinch. You've got way too much debt. You got a health crisis. You got a divorce that just happened. You thought you knew something. It all comes crashing down. When you're in a pinch, a bind, a pickle, what's one more synonym? In a tough spot, watch how much faster you're willing to take help, or if bullets are flying and you're in a trench. You can hear God too. It's just all voices at once is the only way I know how to say it. And I don't know if anybody's actually seen God. I've never even tried to do that. Everybody, all the other figures, like 200 other figures people can see. Elvis. But I've never tried to do that. I don't think we would. I think you just need to hear it. And you got to be like Olympic level doing listening. You're just like, got it. What's next? Seeing light, getting answers, getting hugs. Hugs can become healing. What's really cool is interdimensional travel, we'll call it. It's not a lucid dream. It's better than that. 5 minutes of our time is 10 minutes over there. Egypt, Middle East, beautiful desert oasis setting, Thailand, India, temple setting. You get to hang with your eyes shut, sitting like this. And it can be a healing ceremony. It could be an educational ceremony. You're not going to just sit there in silence or just eat and they're eating and there's no conversation. Stuff happens. You can get your next book idea. If you're a musician, get your next album idea. You don't have to do it that way, by the way. You could just get it directly and hear the symphony come in. Why not? So I have photos of angels. I'll just put up a couple. These photos can move, flash. You can see a face in the ball light, call them interdimensional. There's my guardian angel by herself. I've had 2 guests lately who have met her in their own timeline. One, that's her guardian angel as well. So I figure there's 80,000 of us that share that guardian angel. Historical photos, if you go to my website, Geronimo, Sai Baba, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, to just help that podcast person out there who's upset that if you don't say the Sri Shirdi, it doesn't count. It's not the actual Sai Baba, but the Sai Baba from 100 years ago. The cool dude, Mr. Miracles, tight with angels like this. He's awesome. He'll move in a historical photograph, a wink, a smile, shoulder waggle, nod, ask for incense from a temple in India and get the coolest incense. You couldn't buy it anywhere on Amazon. Same thing with ancient Egypt. You can go there, the Akashic records, get a tour through it. You're chatting with angels. Meet your team. I rarely get to do that for a person because there's so many figures on the front end. And this is something that, again, spirituality, wellness, publishing, the whole enchilada, you name the organization, the industry, the group, spirituality industry, the wellness institutes, the spas, people have yet to embrace this. It'll change over time. The consciousness thing, the expansion, it's already here. Love is love. Details are details. It's already emerging. Ask Jesus about it. Listen to him. He's got a great sense of humor. Watch my show. I've got, I think, 208 episodes booked into April of 2025. We're airing around, I'm going to say episode 88 or 89 now. Lisa Richmond in Canada, absolutely fantabulous. Holy Toledo. Is she wide open? I'm a fan, and I'm having her back on as much as she'll come back on. She just did a panel with Britt Elders, Dr. Christian Strang, and they had a blast together. They got to do stuff together. So that's my latest mind, body, spirit panel, perhaps number 11. It all kind of jumbles together after a while. I've invited them all back on. I know Britt Elders is going to come back on. I know Lisa Richmond's going to come back on. Hopefully Christian's going to come back on. And they want to do a panel again. So maybe November-ish, maybe late September, we'll see. They had a lot of fun. I have another group. It's Paul Sugar, then the 50-year mindfulness guy, remote viewer. I think he's already been on twice. Maybe he'll be my first guest that'll be on 3 times. He's been on at least 3 or 4 panels. Oh my God, is he walking encyclopedia? And he's wonderful, super talented. There's Welsh theater director Ewan Briock and Dr. Leanne Whitney, who co-hosts as a guest on New Thinking Aloud, Jeffrey Mishlov's long-running show. All 3 are wonderful. They got along really well the first time. They did a second panel together. I think they've agreed to do a third. I can't remember if I've booked it or not, but just be on the lookout for that. Go watch. It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of material. But these are super sage folks who have been somewhere. Their unique life path is fun. They've been very brave as inner fearless, peaceful warriors to pay attention more, to listen, to engage the universe. They've learned something. They try to share that wisdom on the show. And then most of us get totally shocked once we bring the angels in, and they can, or guides, or beings of light. You can meet light beings. One named Grace, Seth from the 1970s, Jane Roberts, Seth, kicked off the whole New Age thing, or even Zoroaster. But the point is, there aren't too many humans who can stay cool as a cucumber. We're all privately blown away when you have these interactions. It's a lot. And go to bed early, hydrate more, baby yourself, pamper yourself. It's a little bit like the John of God experience in Brazil, pre-prison John of God, but you don't have to travel to Brazil. You don't have to, spend 2 weeks there. It's allow, ask, and receive. And what are you allowing for in the first place? Most of us are completely how do I say it? Compartmentalized is what I was trying to say, like a battleship, watertight, airtight compartments on every quadrant of our life. Think of an Olympic swimmer from 20 years ago who got 15 golds. All that training and stuff wasn't done here out of happiness and bliss and joy and being in the moment. It was done out of a mind discipline mentality that, the coaches didn't know any better. Everyone was doing the best they could. But when the person got done and retired, no matter if they had 400 gold medals, they're not prepared for life, to be happy in the moment, to have the shifts of the grains of sand of life, the ebbs and flows. They're not prepared to just walk a smoother path and to be one with all, one with the trees, one with nature, one with people, one with where they are in life. This is about the ultimate training in a way of just getting past words, egoic thinking, getting past the ego, meeting your ego and taming your ego. The first time you see a photograph move, a wink, a smile, a shoulder waggle, and so on, your brain's going to say, I didn't just see that. Your heart's going to say, oh my God, Sai Baba just smiled, winked, nodded. I was going to put his photo up. I'll put up Audrey Hepburn's photo, and she's absolutely wunderbar. Love her. She's an angel. She's not shy. And again, my only setting my intent thing, I'm going to make no sense right now, but I'm kind of channeling, so just give me a break on it. Ask angels to get you out of your head, into your heart, make it nice. Ask Audrey to help out here. Put your eyes on her, let her wink, smile, nod, shoulder waggle. See an eyebrow go up. Ask her a question, get an answer, get a hug. You'll hear your voice for a few seconds. Then you'll hear her voice once you settle down and relax. It's like driving a car for the first time. You were either hyper scared or hyper excited. You're like, I got this. Either way, today on the road, 20 years later, you're probably not paying attention that you're so excited about driving the car. Pause that, come back to it, let her wink, smile, shoulder waggle. The point is, there's a higher frequency available in any moment. If you ever had a moment of joy, been to a concert, wedding, celebrated something, your team won, it's not as external as you think it is. You just allowed yourself to tap into a pre-existing constant stratosphere of joy and love and sparkliness that exists 24/7. It's up to you to figure out if life is a feast, to quote the chief Dull Knife, Unconditional Love Spirit Guide. He says, partake. It's up to you to figure out how to get back to here with all the distractions, the tasks that my problem is, my situation is. There was this political event, this country, there's war. I can't be happy because of X, Y, Z, and I'm lacking A, B, C. And this hasn't happened 1, 2, 3. And at work, it's 4, 5, 6. The brain, your ego, your psyche, your intellect knows way too much. If you were on your last breath talking to an angel, having a life review, most of the things, especially the astrophysicist at University of Miami or out in Maui or in Paris at the Sorbonne, whoever, one of the world's leading scientists or brainiacs or podcast hosts at MIT or Harvard, most of what they know isn't going to help them get a hug from an angel, to get any answer to any question, to understand things at a level of awareness. Awareness is down here. It's not intellect, opposite of intellect, or just different than intellect. Intellect is like heavy concrete bricks. I don't know what you can do with those. Sure, you could build a factory, make more bricks, build bigger walls. Freedom happens when those bricks and the walls are removed. You get out of thinking. Plato's cave, you can meet Plato, have a chat with him. He's crystal clear about your life path, where you are, what you're holding on to, what you need to let go of. He's absolutely wonderful. It took me so long to allow for all this if I sound like I know what I'm doing, but there's Plato. You can see the old man's face in the photo. You can just see him out your window if you're really gutsy. That's my job, is to try to help you just let go of what you know and let go what you think society knows and everything else. Like I said, younger generations are going to be like hot knife through butter. They're going to get into science and completely leave science behind, or there'll be new sciences evolved. I already know that they're talking, modern science or materialist science is the old science, post-materialist science, whatever the jargon is the new science. And then there's going to be triple post, triple X, triple fun, triple blowing it wide open science that just has to do with basic listening to the universe. The universe is super conscious. If anyone thinks we're alone on this planet, perfect. How you think, how you roll, what your value system is, I wouldn't want to change one iota. I wish you well. I wish you, more smiles, breathing easy, having a more fun time, walking a smoother path. But it's completely up to you how you spend your energy. And guess what? That's what you're already doing every single moment of every single day. That's what I'm doing. I've never met anybody again who says, I'm going to go waste all my energy and I want to walk the worst path. I want to hit every category 5 problem and situation in the world. We all think we're doing a fantastic job. There's just a slight adjustment you can do. You can start paying attention more, how you're spending your energy. It's how you spend it. Where you put your focus, where you put your awareness is where you put it. And that's why the Star Wars movies, the Jedi stuff, the martial arts, the art, the music, the dance, listening to your body more, listening to your heart more, paying attention more, it makes a difference. Yeah. So look, it's a lot to accept that you're not alone in the universe, but you probably suspected it. If you've ever heard your own little voice, that's like, I'm so glad I did that. That positive internal voice. If you think it's only your intellect, so be it. But what happens if it was your grandmother who's been cheerleading you along for 10 years, an angel, Einstein, whoever's your cheerleading squad? They certainly wouldn't want to come in as their voice. You would freak out in the middle of a golf swing or driving. What do you think half your intuition has been this entire time? Why do you think people who listen to their intuition or their heart or whatever you want to call it, listen to the universe, listen to their awareness, follow their heart, have so much fun and do so well, and more opportunities jump into their lap? You have to learn how to let go. As a kid, you did all this stuff and then adulting kicked in, or you had some car wreck or something happened. No one can blame anybody for tightening up. We're all shut tight like an oyster, or at least 20 times a day, most of the day, twice a week, twice a month. I know very few flexible, nimble people who are breathing all the time. But taking a good breath, as Chogyam Trungpa said, is a taking in of one's place in the universe. It's an opening to all there is. Smile works. There's about 1 million ways to get to your heart, but there's 400 million ways up here that say it's not possible. You can't. No way, Jose. And that applies to everything else. You got a reason, logic, system, science, all these groups out there that are saying, go away, go away, go away. Even the angel community. You go and say to somebody, and I'm not complaining about this, this is just how it is. I've done this for 13 years. I've probably gotten 2,000 to 10,000 no's. You go to an angel community person, you're like, hey, do you want to meet and see angels? They're like, go away. We're looking for angels. And that's from the Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance book. It's not original. The quote from that book was, truth comes knocking at the door and you say, go away, I'm looking for the truth. Strange, but true was the full quote. Persick has since passed away. I got to chat with, I think his assistant at the time when he was still too ill to talk, but it's human nature. It's why we're mean to each other. It's why we judge. It's why we no to the preclusion of possibility. It's why we're all Scrooge at the beginning of the Christmas Carol. It's a 79-page book. He goes through the easiest transformation. It doesn't look like it in the animated series of the black and whites, and they stretch it out to 2.5 hours, but it's a 79-page book, and his transformation happened during dream time for 30 seconds, 3 minutes max. I mean, he woke up on the same day and it was pretty big. And we go through that through a near-death experience, a car wreck. We didn't necessarily have to die, a divorce, a shift in our situation, a health crisis, you name it. Yeah. I got laid off from a giant billion-dollar revenue law firm with an hour's notice. I was one of 72 people. I think I was the only one excited. I was able to finally leave New York City after a long couple of careers there, maybe 18 years, 16 years that time that I was in New York, another 4 years before that. And I moved to Austin, Texas. I started hearing, feeling, seeing, didn't know how to handle it, didn't doubt people being intuitive before, was smart enough to grab a Sure Shot camera and snapped a lot of beautiful photos. But I'll rephrase that. I was given beautiful photos from angels, from guides, Native American chiefs. They've been with me since I was 2 in 1970 when my dad died in a F4 plane crash off the coast of Italy, Naples, Italy at night off the carrier Roosevelt. It was his time to go. He had just turned, I think it was June 7th was his birthday in 1970, and June 10th was his death day, if they call it that. So he just turned 25 or 26, something like that. Hundreds of people have seen my mom and dad and chatted with them. Here they are. That's Barb and Mike Sr. He's 6'1", she's 5'4", she's super creative. They're not angels, they're unconditional love, they're reconciled. Same thing with like Mother Teresa and Chogyam Trungpa. For all those people out there that are stressing, judging, and trying to hand out speeding tickets to people on the other side, Mother Teresa is fantastic. She's unconditional love, sparkly, great sense of humor, can take care of herself. Sylvia Brown will remind people the same thing. She's all about business, having more fun in life. She's great for technical answers about what steps you should take for your real estate business, your other business, writing. But she can take care of herself. Same thing with Mother Teresa and Chogyam Trungpa. If you want to judge people who are passed over, you want to judge your neighbors, you want to judge yourself and beat yourself up. That's what we all do. You can. No one's stopping you. Guess what? You already are. The name of this game is getting back to a simpler path, doing love, walking a smoother path, and having more fun. Check out what you can check out on my website. It's michaelandreford.com. Check out my YouTube channel. That also is at michaelandreford.com. You should already be watching this video at that YouTube channel. So be sure to like, subscribe, share this if you can. Just put a couple comments down. 2 emojis work. This helps other people see these videos. We have a super small audience right now, just in the few thousand. But with luck and with time and with patience and with help from the universe, it's going to grow exponentially. And we've got incredible experts the world over. We've had a Delta Force operator, the youngest ever admitted to Delta Force, who today is in his, I'm going to say 50s, might be late 40s. We've had a White House doctor, physicians, psychiatrists, New York Times bestsellers, Oprah Super Soul Sunday guests, who else? Just all walks of life, and from about 20, 22 countries by now. Super fun shows, and you want to stick around to the end because that's when most of the sparks fly. And no kidding, we've got whooshes of angels going by, especially for 2 South Africans the one who lives in Germany, the one who lives in France. I'll let you search this stuff out. Each show is its own gem, its own instruction in its own way. It's up to you to allow for what you'll allow for. So I'll simply leave you with this: show more love always, or allow more in each moment. Have more fun. Thank you very much. Michael André Ford in Texas. Take care.